Do you sometimes feel unseen, confused, overwhelmed, misunderstood by your autoimmune disease, your MS? I did for a long time. There weren't a lot of answers back then. So I am Kathy Chester, your host of Move It or Lose It podcast, where we talk about all things that move the mind, body, soul, and spirit. And on top of that, in combination, we have lots of patients that come on and share their inspiring stories, along with experts in their field that will come on and teach us, make us aware, and help us understand what's going on mentally, physically in our bodies, and how movement is so important, but community is so important. So I invite you to be a part of Move It or Lose It podcast, where you will not be alone. You'll hear lots of stories that'll make you sometimes cry a little, but laugh and be a part of this community. So I welcome you to join and come on in, take a listen and a look at Move It or Lose It podcast. Thank you so much. Okay, today we are interviewing Jen on our Move It or Lose It podcast. Jen, we're so excited to have you all the way from California, but we're stuck here in Michigan and it's cold.
Oh, it is so warm today.
Oh,
I'll send some sunshine your way.
Yes, we need sunshine. We have snow coming.
Oh my goodness.
Like 4 inches of snow coming. I'm like,
that's
no.
Oh no, I'm ready to shop for some bathing suits.
I was yesterday and then I'm like, no, we have snow. So Jen, you and I connected during the lovely 2020 COVID time. So the reason I really wanted to interview you today is because I was so fascinated as I got to know you. Again, another female owner and believing the same philosophy and with autoimmune diseases and moving our bodies. But I want you to talk to me about how you got started, what it's like during this, how you even got started with Pilates, how that drew you in. So let's talk a little bit about you, your diagnosis and all that.
Yeah, so just going back, I guess, with school, I was a nurse, went to nursing school, a school called Skadron College in San Bernardino, and I did the nursing program there and graduated with honors, which was great. And I went straight into the medical field and worked for a doctor here in Burbank. And it was great. It was amazing. I worked for a dermatologist, cosmetic surgeon, and it was lovely. Got all the lasers and all the fun stuff.
I was like, wait, you got all that really good. You got Botox, laser.
Yeah, I was really young then, so I didn't even ask for any Botox, but now it's like, yes, give it to me.
Right.
So I had my second child while working at the doctor's office, and I really did not want to go back there. It wasn't that I didn't want to go back there. I just felt like I needed something different, and I wanted to spend enough time with my kids. And my girlfriend had started taking Pilates. And she said, a girlfriend that I've known since kindergarten, which was amazing. She said, first of all, you have to do this. I'm going to get you into classes just to get your body back into business after having a baby. And I loved it so much that the instructor said, you can make a career out of this. Wow. And I just went with that. I asked my husband, is it okay if I don't go back to work right now? And I think that this would be amazing. You can make your own hours. So really since then, I have been working probably 7 a.m. until 2 o'clock. So I can pick my kids up from school. It's been great. And even more so when I was diagnosed with MS. Just having that strength, keeping my muscles moving, the endurance, all of that has really kept me healthy and on my feet, I believe. And that's what all the doctors say, like, you are doing amazing, even though I feel like I'm not, and dragging and the fatigue and all that. It really is, I think, saving my life, really.
So Jen, what do you think would have been the difference if you never were doing the working out before all of this stuff?
Yeah, I mean, oh gosh, I don't know. I think it would be hard to motivate myself to work out and think that I couldn't do it, because there really isn't a day where I wake up going, oh my gosh, like I want to hit the gym. It's
Right.
not like that with MS, right?
That happens for
Yeah.
us.
It's like I'm tired every single morning
Right.
I wake up. But yeah, once I get my workout in and I push past the fatigue and the achiness and the
Right.
pain, I do feel better, you know.
Yeah.
Then you kind of enter in a whole different kind of tired, but it's a healthy tired that you're going to have a good night's rest and that sort of thing. So I think that that's really helped me, because I really don't know that I would go to the gym or
Right.
push myself the way I do, because I
So,
don't think that I would think that I can do it
right.
either.
Absolutely. I
And
agree with you. I
yeah,
think it's harder. I've seen that with my own clients as we share about, what's going on in our different studios. And I definitely feel the exhaustion from the clients quicker. And that it's the masks, it's everything. And
yeah,
it's the fatigue of feeling like one more thing's just gonna put him over. So
exactly.
with Pilates, I love the idea of the slower movement and strengthening of the
Mhm.
body,
Yeah.
where, as you know, with all of the autoimmune diseases, sometimes with a lot of our younger people that are getting diagnosed, you see them, and I was guilty of this. I knew my body needed to move, but I never understood that some of the moves I was doing was so aggressive on my body, that
Exactly.
my body was
There's a happy medium you have to find, because, we're telling people that maybe are stuck in bed or on the couch or not motivated or really healing from a flare to push, 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 but it's a different kind of push. You don't want to be so aggressive, like you were saying, to overheat your body and then your symptoms flare.
right.
You want to feel better. So the movement has to be a little more gentle and kind,
Yeah.
but you have to move. That's kind of the thing.
So I think where you and I connected, where that was the understanding that has to happen. And I
Yeah.
think, unfortunately, with a lot of our autoimmune MS, all of that community, all of our community, is because it's taken so many years for it to finally come out and say, yes, exercise, movement is crucial to us staying healthy. I do believe that having that mindset, and I see it more and more, and I know from my own going back and forth to the doctors and the changes, that they have said the strength that I built up from all the years of working out. So when I asked you that, I was curious, because I don't think that you would have healed as fast had you not kept your body as strong. So if you don't mind sharing, Jen, I would love you to share about what had happened during all the craziness when COVID started for you.
So, yes, with COVID, of course, it was scary and awful. Lockdown and being a mom with MS and keeping my family safe and healthy, and continue to work. And I shut my business down. Well, we closed our doors, and
So wait, go
it was,
back, Jen. I want them to know you also own your own gym as well.
yeah, I do. So I run my own Pilates studio. And the thing that's happening in California right now is it's very expensive to have employees, and it's
Yes.
very expensive to have independent contractors. So, and that's, I guess, about the last year or two. So we all decided, and I've been working with these Pilates instructors as long as we've all been training, which is amazing. So we all decided to just be independent contractors and kind of run our own little business within, like a sole proprietor. And everyone has their own website, and we take care of our own clients, but we're still together. But it works out amazing. What's that?
How does that work out?
I love it. It's great because I feel like everyone is kind of making their most money. It's not all going to one person. You're making the most hourly. Each independent contractor pays their own taxes. And then with that, though, they pay an hourly rent wage.
Gotcha.
And it just has been working out. And everyone kind of feels like, there isn't like a boss.
Right.
And I don't have to take care of everybody. We all just take care of our own clients and our own space. And it's actually been working out wonderfully. And it helped with the lockdown.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, with the lockdown, everyone just kind of went not their own separate ways, but we had to work from home. So we just took our clients and we set up virtual. And I was so lucky that all my clients switched to virtual, and I was training just like how we're talking on Zoom. Yeah. And it just really worked out for them and for me. And then now we're just kind of coming back together. What's that?
Would you say that the Zooming has opened up a new world for Pilates too? Do you see that in the future for what you're doing, that you'll continue?
Yeah, I do. I found that technology was such a blessing during that time. It is actually, I think, harder training virtually because there is a screen. I can't quite get down to the nitty gritty with people. But it certainly saved, I think, our business.
Yeah.
Being able to do this and do classes. I really liked being able to reach the MS community and offer, mat classes that way. And just throughout the world. I mean, people from London were calling to see if they can do the class. And so I really enjoy that. And I think that I want to definitely continue that, especially for our community, our MS community, our autoimmune disease community. And it also makes it more affordable. I feel we're just able to reach more people. Like I said, it is harder because I can't pick on their muscles,
Right.
But it definitely has saved things. Yeah. And I kind of want to, and I'm feeling, I've only been back in the studio, California just opened after an entire year. So I'm doing a little bit of everything virtual. I'm in the studio and I'm doing house calls still. I always did house calls, but there's more now. But yeah, it definitely, I think I'm going to keep it going, but I don't know that it's going to be a full-time thing because I do love my studio. I love the one-on-one.
Oh, me too. So I'm going to ask you now, what would you say on overcoming the hurdles of 2020? I want you to talk a little bit about that part of your health that took a big shift.
So during, I guess, when doctors' offices started to open up again, and this was the summer, end of the summer, I made my appointments for all my things, my dentist and seeing the gynecologist and my mammogram and everything, all the fun stuff we have to do. And unfortunately, I had an abnormal Pap Smear and an abnormal mammogram. And it was, I don't want to say devastating, but it definitely pushed my emotional state over the edge. Keeping it together for however many months for the family, for my business, and to have, those abnormal tests was a lot of stress. At first it was like, okay, I can do this. It's amazing. I'm strong. I got this. But as you know, with MS, every biopsy or little stress on the body, if it's, on your emotional state, or if you have surgery, it would set me back and my MS would flare. So with each biopsy, I was set back like 5 weeks, with the MS. So to just kind of talk about that, with the mammogram, just always to urge people to get their mammogram every single year because early detection is key.
Because I've never had one yet.
Yeah, it's like
full disclosure. I need to have one. So you're convincing me
So, and to even add to this story, I did a certification during lockdown. I was like, I have a little extra time on my hand. I'm not commuting anywhere. I did, it's called the Pink Ribbon Program certification.
Okay.
And it basically is a medical fitness program to rehabilitate people that have had, reconstructive surgery, mastectomies, anything from the start of the biopsy
So
through.
way before you ever knew.
Yes, I did this before. I was like, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to do this. I have extra time. So I got this certification. Of course, they're like early detection, get your mammogram, get your Pap, do all this stuff. So I can't, doctor's office is open and I went. And of course, it's like you get the news and it's stressful. And but with the mammogram, and I have a lump in each breast that they're watching. And that ended up being okay. But of course, the stress with getting multiple mammograms and ultrasounds and biopsies causes a lot of stress because it's scary. It's scary to hear that you might have breast cancer. It looks like I'm just one of those women that, I have dense breasts. They're large, they're big and beautiful, and they're lumpy, and I will always get called in after a mammogram. So if you get that call, try to just be calm and always just keep following through. And I'm definitely one of those women that, this is probably going to come up multiple times in my life. But the other thing I want to talk about was the Pap smear, and it's another thing that women should not put off. And though it's not the most fun appointment, it's quick and easy. And again, they're just checking for cervical cancer, and the earlier you detect it, the better. Absolutely. So that came back abnormal, and that was scary. The biopsies for that area, it's painful. Again, every time I have a biopsy or procedure, that puts stress on the bodies, the MS symptoms flare. So I've been flaring with my MS. So far that we're just calling it a pseudo flare. I just had my MRI, so we'll see if I have any new lesions or anything. I ended up having to have a pretty serious surgery called LEAP, and they remove most and part of the cervix. They're able to test the cancerous areas. And a lot of it was called high-grade squamous cell, which is a precancerous cell. But if you let it linger, then that's what turns into the in situ, is what they call it, cancer. So most of my cervix was like the high-grade 4, which is max. And then I had a little bit of, the cervical cancer in situ. And it had, what did they test? It was gland involvement, which was unfortunate for me because they wanted to do then a little bit of chemo, which again on the body was just, it's been a rough year for me medically.
I mean, honestly, Jen, every time we would chat and I'd see something else, if you don't know, once you hear this podcast, if you don't know Jen, you need to look her up on Instagram, because her story, her positive attitude, and your ability to share when it's not so great, and your ability to be out there like, this was a really crappy month, this was a crappy week. And I think that that's just so many. We know in the Instagram world, we like to we see a lot of like happiness and everybody's together and the kids are great and marriages are all great.
Yeah.
So
Thank you. I find it, I mean, I started the page as an MS support page, and I didn't know where it would go. Like I really had just been following a hashtag, MS warrior or something like that, and started to see that there was this community dressing in orange and supporting each other. So I was like, oh, well, I was at my lowest. I'm going to, start this page. And I think that that's what's so important is to share. I mean, it's been about 1.5 years, not even that long. But the community was just so supportive. I mean, it just went from one follower to thousands overnight.
Yeah.
It was amazing. And I think it's important to share the good.
I shared about different migraine. And I'm going to put a link in here about some of the things that we do for our migraines. And we know migraines are very, very common with a lot of the auto.
Yes, unfortunately, that was one of my big symptoms that started before everything, obviously through life migraines, but I was having migraines almost daily before being diagnosed. So that in itself brought me to my lowest. And that's really when I started the page too. So I like to share whatever works for me, if it's ice packs or,
what is it that you're finding now that's working the best for migraines?
So I tried, of course, many medications, like preventative medications, and they would work. But really, once my MS symptoms came on, nothing was working. So I tried all kinds of supplements, and that I found very helpful. You definitely want to talk to your doctor so they can lead you to the right kind of magnesium is key. And that I think brought it down to about 50%, I would say, just adding magnesium. And don't think that you can go eat enough lettuce. You can't eat enough lettuce to get the magnesium that you need. No. Greens are very, very important, but you need, especially just someone with deficiencies like we need that boost. So supplements are awesome, especially vitamin D. I don't know if the vitamin D helps with the migraines at all, but magnesium was huge.
Magnesium and the vitamin D. And that is something that I really appreciated in 2020 was a lot more knowledge about vitamin D was there, but also you had people coming on as well sharing that you have to be tested. Don't assume because we have an autoimmune disease that we need 5,000 milligrams of vitamin D. So a lot of us do, but not all of us. And so I do, but you want to make sure that that's what you need.
You don't want to have too much vitamin D, and it's an easy thing they can throw into your blood work. And you have to have your blood work done before the MRIs anyway, so you should have it checked annually. It's super easy. The other things they can check inflammation. They can check all kinds of things for you to see if you need, things that I like, all the omegas and vitamin C's, and I love all my supplements. I can really feel when I don't take them.
I've used Previnex this since a little bit after COVID. They reached out to me and it has changed, just been huge blessing. They're going to be on one of my podcasts as well. I would definitely suggest that. And I'll put that on the bottom of the notes as well. But I do want to ask you, how would you say that your community, your company has been able to give back throughout all of this? What would you say the biggest thing that you've been able to do yourself, family, community, business? What have you been able to give back?
Oh, there you are. You were asking about my business and maybe giving back to the community.
How have you been able to do that as a family, as your business, being able to give back to the community?
Throughout the years, I definitely like to have some sort of community class where it's free. And I've done everything from, this this nail salon that I visit frequently. The owner asked if I could train all her employees, and I did that for a few years as a community class. She wanted to give back to the people that work for her, and that was lovely. They had a lovely garden area, so I was able to train them outside and just do some gentle Pilates and stretching and yoga and So I've done stuff like that.
So what
And
about Jen, since 2020, since COVID, what have you been able to give back to the community?
the only thing, because California has been so shut down, I would probably say the virtual class that I was offering through, both my private page and my MS support page, and just trying to spread the love of moving and staying active and any kind of motivation or support. So yeah, I just try to give back doing the virtual classes. And if they want to pay, they can pay. If they don't want to pay, then that's okay. But
So
I thought of it.
How did you pick the location of where you are?
So I kind of feel like the location picked me. I was working at a studio and I was an actual employee and I was fired. So it was a bad situation. I was actually really happy I was let go.
What did you do?
I didn't show for a work meeting.
Oh,
Apparently I blew it off. I know I did not blow it off. I was working at another studio training or whatnot, but that was a wonderful moment because I really felt good. So the community that I teach in, it's called Larchmont Village, and it's in Hancock Park. It's near Paramount Studios. It's this cute little quaint neighborhood where everyone eats and shops and works out and everyone knows each other. So I really enjoyed working on that street. And so I just found a place to rent and just do my own thing. And that's kind of when I became my own boss and the whole thing evolved. And I really became happy at that moment. I love being my own boss. And I evolved into the instructor that I am,
right.
Just being able to be myself, teach the way it's my personality to take care of people and to be cheery and encouraging, but with a little papa, to get them moving.
I find that to be always fascinating because when I'm training a new trainer, I will, and I'm sure you probably do the same thing. I will say, follow me to learn. I'm going to continue to teach you. And within that, you're going to find your own personality will come out.
Yes.
And
yes.
You in the beginning, you're going to sound a lot like me, but eventually you'll find you and you'll sound like, and people will enjoy that.
Exactly. I'm glad you do that because my instructor very much wanted me to be like him. And the owners kind of were like that, teach the way I teach. And, it just doesn't feel comfortable. Right. And when I was myself and I can count, people say I have a very sing-songy way of training. I count and I talk with a sing-songy voice and they love it. And I'm like, I don't know where I got that from. Maybe it's the mom in me, maybe it's the dancer
right there, Jen, because I may have like a more of a military kind of a push, like I know you can do this, I believe in you, let's go. And then a couple of my other trainers are a little softer. And so I can hear the client say, well, if we go to, the boss, she's going to be tough, but maybe we go to a gentle one. So I think it is, what's important about it is when you own your business is to understand the different personalities and how they complement each other. So I think that moving forward for you, how do you see that? You do it by yourself. Do you see yourself hiring someone to help out?
Possibly. I have thought, because it's hard to tell what the pandemic is going to do. Our rent is very high on this street in particular, but I like being on it and people go there. And I think they go there because of the shopping and the restaurants, and they like to walk down to the market, and that small community feel within LA is really nice. And so, yeah, I was just kind of feeling it out to see what's happening. And I know that we were talking about how we were seeing all these for lease signs and what it's doing to our city and how it's going to affect us and if we should move and that sort of thing. So I'm kind of taking a peek at different real estate and that sort of thing. But the prices in our area just seem to be holding strong, holding steady. So I'm just kind of waiting to see. My phone's been ringing a lot and a lot of new clients coming in and calling, which is so great and encouraging. So I think we're going to make it through this. I think we're going to make it through this pandemic 2020 craziness.
My other question is, one of the things I enjoyed, we're now hearing back from clients that had moved. And now that the world opened up, virtual, Zoom classes, things like that, now I'm getting contacted by clients I haven't seen in a long time because they're like, I don't want to go back to the gym. Can you train me? So are you finding that you're able to connect with some clients you haven't been able to see in a while?
Definitely. And people that were even going to a yoga studio, group classes haven't opened up at all in our area. Still, we don't know what's going to happen with the yoga community, unfortunately. So I'm getting a lot of those calls from people, and people that I haven't heard from, and they've been now sitting and enjoying themselves for a year. They need to get back at it. So it's nice. It's nice to hear from people. It's nice that people now are seeing it as an opportunity to get moving and get fit and take care of themselves. Also, people are still very much in Los Angeles, still working at home. So a lot of these people are finding that they can go have their private training, but not have to worry about commuting and the drive and then work and blah, blah, blah. So that's been really nice too. So I'm actually seeing a lot of people from Paramount Studios. It's like, this is really good. Yeah.
I really am enjoying that with the Zooming and the virtual, it gives you more time because we have so many people working from home. So they're like, wow, I could do my lunch break and do this. And I love that because it opens up times that I normally would not be able to train them.
Exactly. So and I was feeling like trying to adjust my schedule is like having, the first half of the day really busy at the studio. And then the second half is the virtual, and then kind of alternate like that.
Right.
It's not quite working out like that. I'm all in different places at the same time, but just as long as the Wi-Fi works, we're all good. So
right. The Wi-Fi. And we're pivoting is like the word, right, for 2021. Yes.
Pivot, innovative. Yep.
Yes. And I see that. So now that you're feeling stronger, I'm going to put some notes. So how can people get a hold of you and find you if they're near, they want to get back and get stronger? And how can we find you, Jen?
You can look me up. My website is pilateswithjen, JEN.com, and you can book classes or privates through the website or call me. Just click on any of those buttons and you can get a hold of me.
Perfect.
Thank you for that.
And I will have those notes, how to get through to at the end of the podcast so people can find them. But I would say, what would you say to me getting ready to end our podcast was the best part that you can take away from 2020 and the most difficult?
Oh gosh.
I know. I my husband a lot.
That's hard.
I have really good questions.
I feel like, the best part, I have no idea if my family would agree with this, was the 3-month lockdown where I just had my family and we were all working and at home in the same place. And just the cuddles and the togetherness, did they want to be hanging out with me at the end of the 3 months? I do not know. But I liked that. I cherished it. Once I felt safe, once I felt like, okay, we're not going to run out of food. It's going to be okay. And it's not going to be an apocalypse. It's going to be okay.
Right.
it was, yeah, I think that was my favorite part. And I, had a great time with my husband. We have TV time. I don't know. I liked it. We cooked together every night. So I would say that was definitely the best part.
I love that.
Also, the best part though, is I really feel like it was confirmed that I am meant to teach Pilates. Like, I love this. I don't know what I would do if I didn't have it. It makes me happy. And when I'm teaching, I actually get a little high, especially with new people. Oh, it feels so good. So that was a gift too. And let's see, the worst thing, I think would probably be this, the cancer scare. I got through it, but I don't know how graceful I felt, if that sounds.
What would you say? What got you through? What did you grab? Was it your faith? What was that thing that you just, I can get through this?
I know, it's so hard to say, because when I was going through it, I didn't feel collected and calm, because it was like, here's the pandemic. I think I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to open my studio. They just kept pushing back 3 more months. And then with oh, well, now you have to do chemo. And now this, I felt kind of unhinged. But I think just knowing that I had my family support and calling on my family to talk about my stress and feeling like I don't have a grip, like, I'm sorry, I don't have it. I'm not together. I think that's what got me through. I wish I could say that I was super strong every moment of every day, but yeah, with the cervical cancer, it really just pushed me over the edge, but I got through it. I did, and got through and went right into the holidays with chemo and all that.
Yeah.
And it's
Jen, watching you, I can say that if I had to give you a word, you didn't survive, you thrived in that. I mean, I watched your post and you're talking to people, and I was like, man, I don't know if I could be that strong.
Oh, thank you.
And really supported and really opened up the door to, once we have that knowledge, we've got one autoimmune disease. A lot of times we know there's another one there, but we get very fearful of that. So I think you opening up, and I'm so thankful for you being very free and very open, because it is a scary thing to know that, yes, I know I've heard that there could be other autoimmune diseases attached to this, but your advice, Jen, to get checked, and we can't keep using the excuse that I hear a lot. I'm too afraid. I can't go to the doctor and get checked, because we survived this only to
I know. And it's such a bummer too, to think it's like, oh, well, we have multiple sclerosis and we're doing all this hard work. And then, we could still get cancer. It sucks. We can still get another autoimmune disease. We could get another, we can break bones. We can lose our eyesight, whatever. It still can pile on, unfortunately. But it's gonna be all okay. And you do have to take care of all of your regular things, even from going to the dentist and your eye exams and everything. Just stay on top of that, just like as if you were to take care of a child. You take your kid to the doctor every year, you have to take yourself to the doctor every year. Yeah, definitely.
Because we know that if we're not okay, we're not okay for anyone else. Yeah. We can't get back to our spouse, our family, but taking care of ourselves. Yeah. And I think that, again, what we really connected on was self-care. 100% is about, do I want to get my hair done? Yes, self-care.
Yes.
Self-care. Massage, self-care. But one of the things I think we miss is that self-care, our bodies have been through so much. And the idea that we don't need movement and we don't need to get that strength back. So really turning people around and understanding that that is a key part of self-care.
I think so too. To And anyone can reach out, man. If you're stuck in a hospital bed or whatever it is, recovering from a flare or injury, and you don't think that you can go exercise or regain your strength or endurance, whatever it is, there's help for you. I can guide you and take baby steps. There's no reason that you should be stuck in that horrible place, and get strong and feel good and healthy. And yes, and it's important to keep doing it as your self-care.
Well, I appreciate that, Jen, very much. And I would, a little teaser is that Jen and I had planned to do a combo class a long time ago, but we put it on hold. So we're going to make the date. And so get ready.
Now that my health is all back on track, it took a little bit, and I'm excited to do that. I love a combination class. You would get a little bit of both of us and a little bit of HIIT and a little bit of Pilates. And you can kind of see that you can totally do it, and anybody's welcome. And, you know, we're here to make adjustments and just make it available to everyone. Well, even Jen, if you're stuck in a chair, whatever your deal is.
That's what we've been doing a lot of chair workouts for a lot of our autoimmune. And it's been so great because the patients then understand I can still do this. And so we'll work, and I'll say, yes, you can. So
that's a wonderful thing about Pilates as well. With if you're doing mat work and you have an autoimmune, you stay on the floor. You know, it's not up and down. If that's a fear, it's sitting or laying down and moving from there. So if it helps wrap your brain around a workout and the challenge, it's totally, you're able to do it. Yeah.
I am looking forward to working with you.
Thank you. Me too.
Thank you for participating and being on my podcast.
Thanks for having me. I enjoyed it. I love seeing your face.
I love seeing you finally. I can't wait to go visit you.
I know, that would be wonderful.
And that's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Another great interview in the books. So please remember to subscribe, review, and always I want your feedback so that I know what interests you. What are some topics that you guys want to hear? Hope you enjoyed it. Can't wait to see you guys next time. Bye-bye.